Hello, so it's Tina, and I'm here to give you my top 10 tips for being successful in doing research studies. Number one, never pay to join a research study site or a database that you can look at because, for one, it's a scam. You shouldn't have to pay because the information is out there for free, which I'm going to give you as well. So keep that in mind. Number two, also create a second email address, or if you already have an email address that you don't use, try to dedicate that one to your research studies, because over time, as you start getting more and more opportunities sent to you, it just keeps things more organized and less messy being combined with your personal emails or your business emails that you may have. Number three, just making sure that you're honest and thoughtful in the answers that you're giving, because some of them will do screener calls, call you to make sure that some of your answers, are still consistent. And some of the sites also do robo type of questions where they're just seeing if you're paying attention. And if you're not paying attention so many times, you'll get screened out. You may even, lose your opportunity at any studies for that specific company. Number four, making sure that you fully complete your profile, because that can affect what type of opportunities or how many opportunities you're getting. So that's just something I always say, just make sure you complete it. Even if it takes you a little time, because some do have very long ones, that's okay, as long as you get it done. Which leads to number five, make sure that you have a PayPal if you don't already. It's a quick, easy, convenient way to get paid for some of the companies that prefer to pay via PayPal. And then making sure your email address and contact information, phone number, and so on is up to date. There was a time my physical address was not up to date. I'm sure they mailed out that card. I never got it. Their company kind of changed, and then I never got paid. It got mailed to somebody who got paid. So just keep that in mind. Number six, just making sure you have different web browsers. You may also have to download certain video conferencing programs. Like, I know I've had to use Zoom before. I think I've used Google Meets. I've used some other programs on top of browsers like Chrome and Microsoft Edge. So I just want you to be aware of that, basically. Tip number seven, keep track of your studies somehow. Whether you want to keep track in your phone or have an Excel spreadsheet, just making sure you have, like, what is the company, what is it you're going to be doing for them, whether it's a focus group or a product test, what was the date of, this study when it started, just so you know, like, okay, I haven't got the lotion yet in the mail, or whatever it is, to know you should be expecting it. How much are they going to be paying you? And then once they do pay, you can go back and mark, okay, I was paid for this. It's just a nice way to keep track of everything you're doing, especially if you end up doing multiple studies at a time. It can get a little overwhelming, but then also just so you can see the progress you're making and what you're getting paid as well. So tip number eight, just making sure you're also quickly responding to emails and calls for product tests and focus groups, because quotas do get filled up quickly. I mean, I'm guilty of it. There's times when I didn't call until many hours later, and they go through the whole screening with me, and they're like, oh, unfortunately, we have reached the quota for what you would have qualified for. I'm like, okay, great. So, I mean, it happens, but whenever you can, and it is in your control, try to reach out as quick as you can. And then number nine, if you do miss a study due to it being full, like the quota, or they say, well, we'll put you on a waiting list, don't dwell on it. I say this because I used to dwell on it and say, dang, I just missed out on $125. What the heck? But over time, I've learned it's going to happen. It's fine. Move on. There'll be other opportunities to come. Sometimes even better than the one you were going to do. So it's fine. And then lastly, number 10, do what works for you. Just because I like to do something or I do something a certain way, that may not be the case for you. For example, some of the websites I like, you might not like them, you might not prefer them, and that's fine. Another example, when I do surveys now, if they're over 15 minutes or so, I tend to get a little antsy and patient and don't want to do it. So now, for the most part, I don't do surveys that are over 15 minutes long, unless I see a bigger opportunity that could come from it, like, oh, we're going to be doing a study that pays $200 or we're going to be sending a free product, then I might do it. So it just, again, do what works for you, which could be different from what I prefer and what I like, and that's okay. And your preferences could change over time too. So that's it for my top 10 tips. I hope you're having a great day. My next video, I will be putting out some of the top sites or the top site, depending on how I plan to do this, that I recommend you sign up for, and additional details and information that should be important to know. Thank you. Have a nice day or evening.